But my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises. You ain't stopping this, cross my shit, you'll be knocked unconscious, bitch. That's the consequence, I got this, I will not quit. Man, I'm on it, honest, I'm gonna launch quick, then I'm gone. It's just a matter of time before I'm over the climb and moving under my prime. Just quit my 9 to 5, I'm rocking, they watching, cause it's shocking. Dropping all these top 10 songs, so stopping. It's time to live my life, it's time to live, not die. Wish I could slow down time and just enjoy the climb.
What is up, people? So, sorry about earlier. I have no idea what the hell that was. Hopefully the internet continues to keep going. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if it's buffering. Let me know if it's doing that crap. But hopefully I fixed it. I have a fun one because everyone's been talking about these senses. Everyone seems pretty damn confident in the fact that they know what's going on based on 5 senses. I don't know. I don't think that's enough. I mean, how do you base your whole existence of where we live, where what it is, if you also know that your 5 senses will fool you? So I I like to talk about that today because one of the first things that I remember when I became a flat earther was hearing the guy vegan warrior. His whole thing is the 5 senses, and I get it, and I completely understand exactly what he's saying. The problem is that you also know that our senses can't be trusted. We first of all, no one knows exactly how the brain works. At best, they're trying to map it to know what receptors are firing off when things are going on, but for the most part, they don't exactly know how the brain works that way. But we do know, especially because we've created words and meanings and definitions and shown exactly what we're talking about. A mirage is exactly that. It's our mind playing tricks. The way we see it, our brains takes it in. Right then and there, you're saying that what you trust to tell where you live, everywhere you live, over all science, is the same thing. That there are many definitions and phenomena that happen based on your brain not being able to receive it the same. So I don't understand how that could be one of your proofs. It doesn't make any sense to me. Um, like I said, the one thing I definitely do know is that your senses can't be trusted. We all know that. It's just the way it is. Period. Um, I mean, and that's across the board, not just one of them. All of them. Any given time, all of them can deceive you. But what did humans do? They they wondered why. Wondered why they thought their brains worked, and then they're seeing these anomalies that just didn't make any sense. Well, luckily, that science that no one's trusting did a lot of studies, experiments, and observed a lot of people, and came to the conclusion that hey, no one sees the same. No one sees exactly the same, which means a lot of things change. Shit, you're dyslexic. Your brain does not work, and you do not observe things the exact same. And that goes across the board. People just do not see colors, a sentence, anything. A lot of this, dozens and hundreds of things that basically we know for a fact. Not everyone sees the same. Now, let's not confuse that with the believing it's something, because you can be in the woods and see a deer and believe it's Bigfoot. Not the same thing. But yeah, hey, you could be walking through that same forest and see something cross your eye. It makes you look over there. It could have just been a shadow. Could have been a bird. Could have been a coyote. But once your brain starts running that, what could it be? Because you didn't really see it, but you saw something in the corner of your eye. Man, that's when your mind starts running with you, right? So, like, say if someone told you it was a sphere, and then someone came along and went, "Hey, it may not be." And you go, "What?" You go, "Why does the globe do this, this, and this, and this?" The brain starts going, "Damn, I thought there was enough evidence for the globe, but this guy who seems obviously to know more about the globe than I do tells me this, and this is why it's not a globe." Rather than telling him exactly like it was, this, and this are phenomenons and that science is trying to figure out. Same information, just a different way of saying it. That's that to me is kind of what I call a snake oil salesman. Um, these guys that play on these little words and little phrases that make it real easy to make something look insanely bad, and it's ridiculous. Um, Now here's a kicker to it. Most of these guys are so trolly that you couldn't possibly ever believe the damn word they said, regardless. But unfortunately, you add something that has a real strong backing for it, religion. I mean, you got a whole proportion of the population that automatically is going to step a foot that way because hey, a lot of these guys say they don't even believe in a god, but flat Earth, they believe in a god. Let me at least go hear them out. Again, you don't understand what you're being told. You told a lot of things and not even realize what you're being indoctrinated with. Because let's face it, if there are no flat Earth scientists, there are no flat Earth uh, calligraphists, or the map maker guys. If there are no um, flat Earth astronauts, flat Earth, you name it. I'm saying like people that are really telling, giving us the information, not those main sources, those guys. How many flat earthers are there of them? Okay, well, and you can say, of course not, blah blah blah, or they know, or they're lying. But the realization of what I'm asking is, how did you conclude that it was a flat Earth yourself? Now, not, I've been part of this community and over the 5 years, I've learned a lot from this person. No, just think back. Who or what information did you receive that made you believe it was a flat Earth? Because again, when I became a flat earther, and I know none of you, when you first became a flat earther, besides for the obvious, you look out the side and you look around you feeling. Besides that one, what establishment, what professional, someone that was qualified or something that can give you that definitive proof that it's flat? Because I mean, and here's the thing: if it was just someone else that was a flat earther on around here, then that's fine because that's how most of us became flat earthers. I get it, but if everybody has that same experience, then at the very least, shouldn't you be questioning that? Remember, yeah, you may believe that the government is hiding flat Earth, and again, I'm with everybody. I 100% know the government's full of shit. 100% know they do shit behind our backs. They do things to advance their agendas. I get all that. The problem is there's evidence for those things, but there still isn't evidence for a flat Earth. Now, and that's just on the documents found side, like an official, it is flat type document. But what about, the evidence? And I keep, every day I'm talking about this now. It's these simple things that you don't have to even understand exactly how it works. You just have to have a basic idea of how it works. And then from there, you just realize that if all these things do line up with each other, they do work, everything works, and all these observations are done on a globe, how is it that a lie that science has given us can be done by you and I, and these are numerous ones, and we'll all come together with those experiments and have a globe? If there was a lie, why haven't you guys came out with these experiments going, boom, this is exactly what it does, and this is how they lied about it? Because we're not seeing that. We're seeing, you're showing us videos and uploads of out of focused, no information behind it. Like, it's really difficult for you to nitpick those type of things when videos are shown by people who are trying to explain these, the globe realization. But when you show us yours, it's literally out of focus. Now, again, that was my rant. Uh, Hopefully it sufficed, and I say, hey, let's get the panel out there. I wanted to hear what you guys want to say about it, because realistically, it's I don't get it. It makes zero sense to me. So again, 5 senses, bullshit. What are they gonna do for you? Not a damn thing. And not gonna happen. So as I rant on now, I'm getting the link for you guys. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. What's up, Cigar Face? What's up, J Alex? I'm assuming, I'm pretty sure it's P Mars. I don't know. Yeah, so, yeah, but like I said, I was listening to Jose's live stream earlier. You haven't subscribed, you're still sleeping under a rock. Go check him out. Uh, Here's the thing, guys. Again, and I'm gonna keep saying this till I turn blue in the face. Flat Earth, there's a difference between you talking to him and I that I have already noticed, and that's the way you're able to argue around debating with a glober, or even these discussions. I see him. I know I've listened to him, and I've watched him over and over again stop it because of him noticing it. It's not that we're just here to try to debunk, and I can give a shit less about debunking it. To me, it's about you guys understanding what you think is a lie. I mean, I know for a fact a lot of flat earthers are just bent on it having to be flat to have their stance on bullshit government. If you believe you're right on every situation going on, isn't that a problem? That's a lot of violence not going on that you believe is going on against us. It doesn't make sense to me. And the worst part of it is I had to actually get into a open panel the other day and tell these two flat earthers how ridiculous they sounded, laughing their asses off about that New Zealand shooting. They were sitting there laughing and convinced it was a hoax. And I went in there and I went, hey, it doesn't really fucking matter if you believe it's a hoax. But there's one thing you gotta fucking remember is you're not qualified to make that distinction, and you're on a fucking live stream right now making fools of yourselves. Grown men laughing at that. Because if it was real, you do understand how insanely ridiculous and inconsiderate and fucking jackasses you are. And hey, you know what? They wanted to come off like, hey, we're experts. We know exactly what happened. I've watched 1,000 of these videos, and I'm like, really? So what do you do for a living? Of course he wouldn't tell me, which I don't mind, but he definitely wasn't qualified to make a distinction on whether or not something was real or fake hours after it happened. Like, you have this uncanny ability to solve cases in hours and no one else can. And not even like you're there to see any evidence. You've watched a video, that's it. On YouTube, which you do understand how the rendering happens. So no matter how great it was in the beginning when it first came out, you have a grainy, crappy ass fucking thing. You are not an expert. You do not know a damn thing at all about investigating or figuring shit out. Yeah, cigar face. That's exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And I fucking told that dumbass how ridiculous he sounded, and he didn't care for shit. He just doesn't care. He thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. That man is a fucking joke. That man told me, I've watched enough videos. I've watched enough to know what's real and what's not. I can make that call. And just didn't get how ridiculous he sounded. And it's crazy. So, like I said, I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but those people make even thinking about talking about conspiracies ridiculously. I don't even want to do it. It took me 2 years to be able to have a conversation about things that I believe are conspiracies with people that I know, like over in the Discord, without them just completely blowing me off. Why? Because they've dealt with the fucking 1,000 fucking flat earthers that talk about everything being a hoax. Everything. So when someone comes in there and wants to talk about real shit going on, real possibilities, not guarantees, possibilities of things happening, you're willing to talk about it. Have a conversation. If you're a flat earther and you get nothing but shit from glowers, maybe, I agree, there's a lot of them over there that are just assholes. But maybe, just maybe, your unwillingness to give a shit about anyone else's views is the issue too. Because realistically, even people I know as flat earthers, I'm now realizing a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are straight, like they just, it has to be refusing to put 2 and 3 together. Like you don't want to understand, because if you understand, then your whole your whole flat Earth world will be gone. But guess what? It's just a fucking shape, guys. Real shit. And I'm gonna tell you right fuck now. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel stupid. I don't feel nothing like that. That I was wrong. Again, I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. But I guarantee you, I've learned more in 2 years about the globe, about how science works, not just how science just dishes out answers. No, they don't. And it's not like no one can do this shit. Everybody can do it. So you're either really hung up on wanting to be a flat earther, or you literally just don't understand it and you tried, but you just can't, and you don't want to admit it, or you just, you don't give a fuck. Period. You just, nope, you don't care. You know it's a globe, but you don't care. You like being a flat earther. It's fun. I'm sorry. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it at all. It was bullshit. But hey, like I said, done ranting. What's up? Go ahead. Everybody? Yeah, you're good. There?
Yeah, hello, Shane.
1 second, let me make sure my mic is on. Right. There we go. What's up? How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm listening to your show. I've seen you the first time maybe a couple months ago when you got back to the being glober,
Yep.
and I just thought I join you. Maybe I can give some information because I was just today talking with someone about human senses. That we have a rotation sensor in our ears.
Yep. And it's funny you say that because I actually, unfortunately, am a sufferer of vertigo. So I am all
Oh
too,
my God.
yes. So I know exactly where you're going with it because let me tell you that all you guys that say, well, how come we don't feel the spin of the earth? Get vertigo. I'll tell you right now,
Yeah.
I feel it. Yeah, go ahead, because go ahead.
Yeah. So I was interested in finding the numbers, the sensitivity of our ears, and it is 4 degrees per second. So if it's less than one rotation every 1 minute and a half, then you're not going to feel anything.
So it's like spinning on a merry-go-round. If you're downscaling it, you like faster or the slower you go, there's a certain revolution that you would start to feel it, but we're nowhere near that, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. I can remember I gotta play stuff through my head so I can understand it a little better. But yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I think that alone, because I have very good depth perception, but when it does happen, and for people that don't really get what I'm saying, I don't feel something every day. Like right now, I'm perfectly fine, but I I've never been told exactly what it is. I do know a lot of my jujitsu training had a lot to do with it. Just in the violent contact of that sometimes happens. But I for the rest basically for my whole life I've always woken up complete surprise that this is happening, and basically what it feels like is not just you, but everything around you is spinning, and it's not like a twirl around spin. It's kind of like a heavy spin. It's pretty bad. Uh, but with that also said, I do every blue moon with that have a balancing problem where I'll be walking and randomly kind of just like I kind of have to stop for a second because I know I don't have my balance. These type of things don't happen exactly the same for everybody. Things go up. This can scale up. I know people who get vertigo and will have it for 2 weeks. I know people that get vertigo, happens for 30 seconds. Unfortunately, I'm in the middle and I get it for a whole day period. But it's these are just one thing that is not what everyone keeps talking about, how their senses are so reliable. I mean,
No, they're not.
yeah, not at all. Matter of fact, and don't quote me, but in my brain, the way I think things work is I think people realized, oh shit, our senses suck ass. We need to figure out a way to figure out what we're seeing. And that's kind of like where all these different forms of science came about. Like trying to figure out what we observe without just relying on our brain alone. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand. And just to support what you're saying, I've seen, you must have seen those videos of pilots in airplanes, they're making a complete circles and they are pouring water in a cup. They cannot sense that they are upside down.
Yeah.
And there's probably a handful of accidents of fighter pilots who were inverted, and they felt close to the ground, or they see the ground as being close, and they did the same movement that they pulled up, but
Yeah.
they pulled up to the ground because they are inverted.
Yeah. I know for a fact. I was watching a documentary about. I think it was fighter. It was like the fighter jets, but like back in the day, like the 40s, 50s, and they were saying like they had to learn to fly with their instruments because they didn't have all that technology, lights, and like all this radar stuff. But that was like you're saying, one of the biggest issues they had when pilots were flying in the middle of the night. Like they get in situations where, like, yeah, they had no clue where they were. It's everything about your directions is suck ass. Um, it's kind of like, hey, same thing. I'm pretty sure if anybody, you're over in your 30s, usually I figured that like I really understood how this worked. You always kind of know where north is, right? North, south, east, west. Just know where you are. That's kind of like the same thing. Like your body knows where it's at. But if you got in like an area you had no clue where it was, you had never been there before, you want to know what's going to happen? You're going to end up. Let me for 1 second, sir. What's going to end up happening is you're going to feel disoriented. You got to get your bearings back. Those bearings is exactly how that works. I muted because you got the dogs barking in the background. But it's again another just all these senses that happen. I mean, there's no one that can tell me your senses are good. No way. So anybody who says that tells you they know it's a flat Earth because of their five senses is like saying I don't even know what it's like saying because it's impossible for you to know. Impossible because your senses are dog shit. Everybody's a dog shit. You want to know how we know? I know that. That's the reason you taste something. That's the reason you have a way to smell something before before you inhale something bad, or your brain has all these alarms that tell you to stop. Because I mean, your brain just is everywhere. Imagine your brain is doing a billion things all at once, and you're just thinking, "I gotta walk." You're not even thinking you got to do those things. There are people that have like disorders where they don't even have feeling. There's people like imagine that. Imagine not feeling pain. You didn't feel pain, then I mean, damn. I mean, you can get really hurt. Probably don't have a very good idea of how edges feel. Like the sharpness and how textures feel because your receptors are probably not good. So if you can't feel exactly what round feels like, then can you imagine what a round object feels like? You know what I mean? Or an edge of a block. Those things to me make little sense in the fact of I know where we live because of my five senses. I mean, I've heard a lot of people lately talking about it, but obviously, the biggest component of this is Vegan Warrior, and every week he's contradicting himself in what he believes and what he knows as facts. Because anything you trust based on just your senses is a belief. You can't prove something to yourself with yourself. I mean, you need evidence. There's evidence. It doesn't always mean you have to do the experiment. You can't do every single experiment. So what does that mean? Are you never going to want to understand what's going on? Because you don't have to do one. You can do one experiment, and then it will you'll be able to basically see how your experiment still works with other experiments, and so on and so on. So the burden isn't on just you to figure out every single thing on Earth, because it would be impossible. Impossible. But again, like I said, I truly believe that at some point we all did just assume our brains were good to go. But when they started realizing it wasn't, it's obviously what science became. The make sure our brains are seeing what we're seeing, or let's figure out why and what we're seeing. Now, here's the biggest problem I have. And I love for any flat earther to be able to answer this. I see Chris, what's up, sir? Maybe you and Seek and Find want to jump on. I'd love you guys to answer this one. How did you find out, or how do you know that science is lying to us? And if science is lying to us, what did you use to decide how to debunk or that the Earth was not a globe? I mean, you don't have to prove anything, but if you have those answers, we can get somewhere. Because if you used any kind of science that goes for a globe, then obviously, I guess, what you are using is a lie, as well as what we're using is a lie. So are we all full of shit, or did you have a source that was able to configure its own science and become qualified enough to explain how these things work, or even that they do work? I kind of find it hard to believe that you would use our science to prove our science is all lies. Does that make sense? And that's just the way I see it. Because over the past 2 months, I know for a fact I've had more questions for flat Earth than I did for 2 years. And the weirdest part is, you would think, because I understand a lot of what they believe is for what, the reasons for why they believe that, but at the same time, I also know where all the holes start for flat Earth and are for flat Earth. I know that the only thing that they can really accomplish in it is explaining all these different phenomenons that happen on a globe. Think about it. Everything they ask is, how does the globe work? How does that work if this is like this on the globe? So obviously, you're using our science that we believe and trust to a point that we can check it ourselves. How are you then using what to disprove it? Because you can't use our science to disprove our science, because what you're using is a lie. Again, I'm going to say, it's like a broken record, man. Seek and find, more than welcome to come on, man. Again, like I said, it's odd to me that you're able to know it's flat and argue for it being flat, and you're one of those people that I guess would use their five senses over anything, right? Hey, what's up, your sweet place? Welcome, welcome. Kind of talking five senses because I'm sorry, but there isn't one person in this chat or anybody can find that can tell anyone honestly that you can trust any one of our five senses 100%. Not one. Impossible. Not going to happen. But again, seek and find. Chris, more than welcome to come on. Matter of fact, if you guys want to come on, I'll shut the panel down. So just the three of us for right now. Because and then our friend here. But one thing I wanted to get across is that it's not I'm not here to prove the globe. I'm here to, first of all, understand what's going on because I don't have all the answers at all. But at the same time, if I can understand a lot of these things completely, then I really have to wonder what the motive is. So you can find, you've asked me at least 80 times, and you have to agree, 80 times, show me gravity or show me the effect of gravity. And I've explained it. Now, if you're going to, and Chris, I think you even denied it too. If you're going to explain something that way, for instance, Chris, you like to say the reason the boats go where what we consider over a curve is atmosphere. It's not atmosphere. Again, I'll explain it. It's not an atmosphere. Atmosphere does play a part in it, but the difference is that the boat will observe this boat going over the same curve all the time at this,